Hey everybody, what's going on? This is Bruce with habowskistudio. Looks like winter's here early in Maine, so I thought I'd give you a little taste of summer in this video. But first, I want to invite you to subscribe to the channel, and I recommend you click on the bell notification to be alerted as to when I post new videos. I believe it seems like when you just click the subscribe button, people are not getting notified of new videos. I kind of caught that idea from some videos I've been watching recently, so I'd like to see if that's true. Seems like the views are kind of dropping on my channel, and I'm not sure why that is. So let's give it a try. So if you subscribe, please click on that bell notification. All right, take care and enjoy the video. Hey everybody, what's going on? It's Bruce, out for another little plein air adventure at a place called Mill Park. It's in next town over from where I live, and I've been swimming here before in the summer, so I thought it'd be a nice little spot to paint. There's a lot of little trees and such, as you can see behind me, and we're headed to the point where two rivers kind of converge, and it's going to be this way. Let me turn around here, right down this pathway. It's going to lead us right to it. Go check it out. Okay, we're getting into the tree line a bit here before we get to the water. It's pretty cool just with the sunlight on the path here. It's kind of cool too. Maybe that might be an option if I don't see anything that's interesting up around the corner here. Okay, here we are. Coming into it here. Got one river goes behind the bushes there, and the other one on this side. Let's go down and check it out. Okay, so I'm set up on my paint box here. I'll be doing a 9x12 today of the train trestle you see over there. I like the kind of strong structural against the organic, and that little hint of orange in the tree is going to be pretty cool. So right now I'm just going to get going on a little tone sketch using some burnt umber and burnt sienna. Get that rolling for the to establish the lights and darks, and then we'll go from there. And I'll be using my ruler today for the lines of the, the trestle. Hey, thanks for joining me for this video. Sometimes I save a couple videos for such a time as this here in Maine when it's a little messy out. I can bring out a little piece of late summer for everybody out there to enjoy. And like I mentioned, I've been to this spot on several occasions for some recreational fun, and have always liked this train trestle, and I thought, you know what, I'll give it a shot and try to paint it. And I always like trying to my favorite plein air is when I can introduce some structural elements with the organic. I think it adds some interest for me personally rather than just a straight landscape. And I'm doing my typical thing I do in quite a high percentage of my plein air work is I just get in there with some burnt umber or burnt sienna, some kind of brownish wash to establish some basic lines of the composition. And you can see here I'm just scrubbing in also at the time a little bit of local color notes, just get an idea of where I want to intensify later on, maybe some. And I'm not putting on super thick because I can always have control of changing that at a later time. Now that's in contrast to the sky that I'm putting in here. I am kind of going for the sky right off the bat. The clouds were having some interesting activity going on because of the high wind that we had that day. You can hear in parts of the audio struggling to probably hear some of it because of the wind hitting the mic. Sorry about that, but you'll see later on how I go about getting the shadow side of the clouds in. Now here I'm just kind of putting a little more intense color in and establishing different levels to the values of the color. And as long as I start out basically with 3, I can always introduce more nuanced shades in there to establish more pronounced form, that sort of thing. And you'll see later on, I'll show the back of this panel, but this is a canvas panel that I purchased at Jerry's Artorama. I thought I'd try painting on the canvas textured panels, and rather than my normal MDF board, which is medium density fiberboard, I cut that up in different sizes and gesso it myself. But thought I'd try something new because I do like the scumbling effect on the canvas texture. I just really don't, believe it or not, prefer the bounce to the canvas. It can be kind of annoying for me personally. So this is a nice kind of departure to play around with. Now here I am. Sometimes what I do with the rim lighting on certain objects, in this case the clouds, I'll overstate the strongness of the highlight because I know I'm going to be tickling edges and potentially blending some of it away. So that gives me the chromatically strong tone in the beginning to have it still stand out a little when I'm done. Now here you can see I'm just trying to get some darks on the train trestle to have that stand out a little bit. And just using a dark tone right now, kind of more of a little bit of coolness to it. A little bit of shadow in the water. Now this part of the where it splits there, of course very shallow, and you'll see later that I add some ripples that I don't worry about at the moment in this beginning stage because I knew I could always add those later. And one thing I like to do once I get these base color tones on is I like chiseling out with some more darker paint the shapes of other objects rather than paint those objects. It's very fun to experiment with that. And what you just saw me do there on the train trestle is knock in some reflected light from the sky into the shadow side of the supports there. I think it adds a nice touch. And of course was there on site that I was viewing. Just kind of shaping up the tree line here in the foreground. And I don't, it depends on what I'm doing. Sometimes I don't overblend too much. I go back to the palette quite frequently and pick up more color and put in more chunky color. And other times I kind of like to get a more blendy effect that you saw before. So I mix it up a bit. Now in the water, when I'm painting the water, rather than overblend, I'm trying to get some more horizontal strokes of different values of the blue and put them in to suggest the different levels to the water. And that worked out pretty well. You can see how I went back to the palette, adding a couple chunky parts. Then other parts might be blended a little more. Okay, so far I'm feeling pretty good about it. I'm about, I don't know, 40 minutes in, half hour, 40 minutes. And I've been painting the whole thing with this flat brush, size 10, from Cheap Joe's actually, bristle brush. And having pretty good luck. Now I'm going to switch to a little more of a detail brush to add a few more touches for leaves and things, and see if we can polish it up a bit. Yeah, I don't always do this with paintings, but it is a fun experiment trying to do as much as you can with one brush, because that facilitates speed of capturing information if you have the right brush. Of course, you know, using these synthetic flats has been pretty useful in my plein air work, and you don't have to be fiddling around looking for different size brushes all the time. So then when you get done with the general simplification of the landscape like you see here, then I can start chiseling out some more correct shapes and specific forms, and really helps that way. kind of refine as I go along, see what the painting needs and that sort of thing. And here I am just cutting, reshaping some of that orange tree, which was a nice little color note, kind of a taste of fall to come here in Maine. I think here in Maine we've, the winter is starting early. I mean, it's November as I'm going to be posting this, and it seems like we've already gotten some cold spells. It's been pretty crazy so far. Not a lot of, just a little snowstorm, so nothing major, so happy about that. And here I'm just getting some more structural elements, some tree trunks and that sort of thing. I think adds, of course, they're there in real life too. You can't just have these, I call them cotton ball trees that sometimes people paint. You want to be careful of that. You got to have some support for the tree and to suggest structure and all that good stuff. Now here's where I'll be cutting in some sky holes. It's just refinement and refinement as I go along. It's a constant push-pull. Sometimes I might reestablish the tree, sometimes the sky hole, that sort of thing. So I'll be back with the voiceover. Hold on. Okay, what I'm doing now is I'm switching to a size 4 flat to chisel out a few more smaller shapes and have a little more variety in brushwork is the hope here. And call this one good enough to work on at home. Light's changing a lot this time of day, so we're going to see what we can do here. I'm applying it and then breaking it a bit, trying not to overblend. I've been using straight terps for any kind of thinning, which I'm just trying to use to paint as it is out of the tube and trying not to thin it too much. Also, instead of painting the shape of the tree, I paint around the shape of the tree sometimes. Pull it out from a negative manner. It's kind of fun to do, experiment with. Just scratching into the surface of the panel, canvas panel here, to suggest tree trunks. Marks here and call it good. Also, I'm going to be trying to do this winter is I've been putting some work in the studio, finished up an 18 by 24 that's turned out really fantastic. Shot some clips. I'm going to try to put that together for a video, so there'll be more hopefully studio videos coming out, and try to keep them somewhat short and hope you like them. So until the next video, I'll continue on with the real-time commentary coming up in just a few seconds. Take care. Trying to get some hints of dark there. Sounds like there's a train coming over the trestle. Check this out, a train is coming over the trestle. How cool is that? Right when I'm painting it. I've never seen this before. I knew it was active, but pretty cool. Just trying to set off a few more lights and darks here. Kind of stealing what I see at the scene and making it work for me. Okay, I'm going to wrap this up. The wind's picking up quite a bit. Okay, well that was pretty enjoyable. A little breezy, a little more breezy than I wanted, but don't have any control over that. So like I said, we're going to take a look at it when I get home, but This park's kind of neat. Nobody was here. Pretty quiet this time of year. And I think it'd be a cool spot to come up and just do tree studies, because there's a lot of cool clumps of trees kind of by themselves in the field of the park. So maybe do that next time. Alright, I'll see you at home. See, here's what I'm talking about. Like that tree right there. That would be kind of cool to paint. Got some other areas of interest out here. Okay everybody, here we are at home. I'm checking out the painting here, away from the subject. Obviously needs a lot of refinement, but I kind of like the bones and the way the angle. I might change that a little bit because it just kind of reads funny, even though it does recede away from the point of view there. It looks a little odd. I might straighten that out, but and I added just a little bit of suggestion of ripples in the water because of how the river is at this juncture in the river where it splits at a point, creates, and it's very shallow, creates the ripples. So I just want to suggest that so I remember to put them in. But I do like how I handled the sky. I just used some burnt umber, a little bit of blue for the shadow, and I kind of like the effect. Needs a little tweaking. I really don't go out there. You know, if I get a painting that I like, you know, and I finish it on site, that's just, to me, just luck. I'm really trying to create, you know, solve problems. I'm trying to pick things to try, experiment. You know, that's what my plein air work's about for me. And so I'm just looking for some accurate color notations and things of that nature. And what this, let me turn this around here. Okay, I'm trying out these new linen painting panels I got from Jerry's Artorama. Here's the label on the back of the canvas panel, so you can check them out. I do like the idea of the linen on the panel, so you don't have any bounce. So I tried out about, I don't know, 9 or so of different sizes to try out. And I always put a little extra coat of gesso of my own on it. When I get them, I just don't trust the slickness of the gesso that you get manufactured on these kind of panels. But yeah, so far I like the surface. I like how you can scumble paint over the textured canvas part, of course. Alright everyone, this wraps up this video. I want to thank you for joining me. If you're new to the channel, I invite you to subscribe and take a look at my other videos I've done. There's some really interesting content there. And for everyone, I invite you to follow me on my Facebook presence at my art page, Habowskistudio. And I post little kind of pics of art in progress, that sort of thing there. So check it out. And until the next video, bye.